Welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Disney's origin flick of Cruella, starring Emma Stone and Emma Thompson. Before she was hunting 101 Dalmatians, we get to see Cruella de Vil's origin story. We get to see her as her early childhood, as her upbringing, and basically how she became who she is. We get to see the amazing characters she meets along the way and help develop the Cruella de Vil character. And we get to just get a look inside her head and see why she is the way she is. And I'll be completely honest with you, I was not completely sold on this movie when I first saw the trailer. It just seemed like a cash money grab to me. I was not sold on Emma Stone. When I think Cruella de Vil, I do not think Emma Stone. So I just kind of did not buy it. And when I first saw the trailers, I was like, this feels like a Disney attempt to recreate the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, basically in the Disney version. So when I first saw it, I was like, is Disney just basically copying that formula and to put it in their Disney format and then basically gonna cash grab it and spawn a bunch of prequels before the 101 Dalmatians movie ever comes out? So basically I was eating my own words because I was very pleasantly surprised. Even when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, Emma Stone's doing a really good job. Even though there was moments when she wasn't speaking in the movie, I was like, even though I'm looking at her, I'm like, I still can't picture her doing it, even though she was doing a great performance. I was like, I'm watching you and I'm liking it. However, when you're not talking, I was like, I don't see it. But overall, she did a very good job. The accent she did was very good. Her portrayal was very good. There was a few times she was a little cartoony with her accent. She would kind of be talking like this. And it kind of reminded me like an Austin Powers kind of a thing. But other than that, she did a very good job and I was very pleasantly surprised. Another great performance in this film was Emma Thompson. She makes this movie just as much as Emma Stone does. I felt like without Emma Thompson, this movie probably wouldn't be as good. There was often times when watching this movie, I was like, this could have gone the other way. They probably could have even gotten Emma Thompson to be playing the Cruella de Vil character, even if they didn't have Emma Stone. Since this is an origin story, we get to see how Cruella de Vil meets her minions. We get to see how she meets Jasper and Horace. And initially I was like, oh, we're probably just going to get like a cartoon performance out of them. However, we do not. They actually play their parts very well. We actually get more from them than what I was expecting. They're in this movie just as much as anyone else. They're major factors in the movie. And their acting performances are very good. And also their comedic performances very well in this film as well. I will say one thing for sure that I was right about. This is definitely the Joker version of Disney. They kind of follow that formula straight out, so it's very similar to the Joker, so this is definitely the female version of that movie. Just like the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, Cruella also has an amazing soundtrack. We have music from the 70s and also from the 60s. We have music from the punk rock era. We also have music from the classic rock era. You're going to be tapping, if you know these songs, you're going to be tapping your foot through the entire movie. We have songs that are from punk bands that I did not think they'd be playing in this movie, but they actually do. I was actually pleasantly surprised about that. We have songs from the Stooges. We have songs from the Doors. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. We have songs from the Rolling Stones. This movie probably spent half of its budget for the royalties of those songs because I was like, there's music constantly playing in this movie. There's very rare moments in this movie where there's no music playing in the background. If you're big into fashion design or just big in fashion or just into cosplay in general, you're going to love this movie. There are costume changes throughout this movie that you're going to love. There's great colors in here. There's great designs. There's costumes that are just well done. And I'm thinking the whole time when I was watching this, I was like, okay, I already know what's going to be going on for Halloween. I already could imagine what everyone's going to be wearing because there's so many different costumes in this movie. I was like, psh. This is a cosplayer and a fashion designer's dream come true. This movie definitely owes a lot to the Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix movie, The Joker, because it definitely follows that formula. It does a very good job of doing that, and it manages to keep it not rated R. Also, like I said, with the soundtrack, I think that might be one of the big reasons why it won me over so well, because the soundtrack is actually really good. The cinematography is very well done in this film. The overall look of the movie captures that 70s kind of punk rock era of London very well. They do a very good job of. There is a mansion that they use in the movie. That's Emma Thompson's mansion. When I was watching the movie, I kept thinking, God, that looks so familiar. I couldn't get it out of my head because it just looked so very familiar. And I kept thinking, like, not only are they using the Joker as a formula, but are they using Bruce Wayne's mansion? However, it's not. It looks a lot like Bruce Wayne's mansion in the Dark Knight series. However, it's not. But it is the mansion that they use for the X-Men movies. or one of them at least. So if I had any issues with the movie, it might be with the time. However, I don't mind long movies, so it doesn't really bother me. There are a few times in the movie where I was like, well, it could have ended maybe 20 minutes ago, not a problem. Would have been fine, no big deal. There is something in the ending where I was like, the movie had me the whole time and it kind of lost me for a second. I won't give it away, but I was kind of like, all right, you guys stretched it a little bit far now. It was like, you guys went a little too far now. But I was like, whatever. So with this being an origin film and everything that's probably taking place in the 70s, I'm assuming the sequel will be in the 80s. Most likely it would have to do with 80s fashion and whatnot. So the only thing I'm concerned about is, since we're basically portraying Cruella as a victim and as basically a good guy in this movie, how are we supposed to make her character into this evil character later on? I'm sure they're going to make a 101 Dalmatians movie and somehow connect them all together. I was like, that's something that the writers might be trying to figure out, because they might be writing themselves into a corner with that. I'm not sure, but whatever. It's not my job, it's their job. I'm going to give Disney's Cruella a B-. If you like what you see here, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.